Real JP Multimedia, proud sponsor of the Nerdball podcast. Here to help you with all things audio, video, graphics, photo, web design. From weddings to real estate, commercial business to private use, we offer a big variety of services for almost any budget. And if we can't do it, we will find someone who can. Find us at realjp.com. That's REELJP.com. Real JP Multimedia.
Hi, this is Jamie Castro, and this is the Nerdball podcast.
This is the Nerdball podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
Perfect. All right, Jamie, thanks for coming on my podcast. I don't know who, a lot of the family listens, so they'll know you're my cousin, but for the people who don't know, you are my cousin. And also I want to thank you because I know you listen to it and because you've responded to some people. So I appreciate that. That means a lot that people listen. And hopefully it sounds good to you. I guess if it didn't, you wouldn't listen.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was telling Joanne at work, I was like, I'm a little nervous because he's actually good at this stuff.
Well, I've been doing it a long time now. I got over 100 episodes, and I like talking and giving speeches and everything. So it's something I actively seek out. And some people don't like that. It's a weird feeling for some people. And I mean, we were talking about this before where you were a little nervous about it because it's not something people do all the time, right?
Yes, yeah. I do not. That's good though. That's good.
Yeah. So the question I asked everybody is what is something you're really nerding out about, something you're really into, if it's some sort of movie or TV show you're really into, a hobby. The only thing, it can't be anything with your job, something that you kind of get away from your job, like something that you enjoy doing.
I don't even like my job. Why would I mention my job? I'm kidding. The thing that I've always enjoyed is going to concerts, but unfortunately I haven't gone to one of those since coronavirus.
Yeah. I mean, you live in Texas and stuff opened up a lot sooner. You haven't gone into anything.
Yeah, I still haven't gone.
Yeah.
My daughter takes up all my time.
Sure.
Let me tell you about her.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Please.
I don't think you've been around Cameron that long, to see her bright, big personality.
Sure.
But on the way over here, so I was telling her about you. And of course she knows you because of Uncle Cheo. We see him a lot more. Mm-hmm. And she says, well, that's not fair. I said, what do you mean? She said, that's not fair that he gets to interview me. How come he doesn't want to interview you? How come he doesn't interview me? I'm not the one that's a dancer. I said, oh my God, Cameron, really?
She can't even be happy for you about it.
This little 9-year-old. And
is that
she acts like she's probably.
Go ahead.
And she acts like she's probably 16.
Sure, I got a 7-year-old that acts like that too. So it's Mateo. It was so it's just, and I don't think they can hear me, but he's so much easier. Just he's so calm and cool, and he listens a lot better. And he's starting not to because he's 10, so he's starting to. There's like, I guess this time in a kid's life where they try to push back a little bit. So there's some like headbutting, but overall it's a lot easier. Lillian, ever since out the gate, she's just been a handful. Just everything all the time. It's so dramatic. Everything is just about her, and it's so difficult.
Wow, she sounds like Cameron.
Oh, probably. It's so difficult because I want her to succeed. And in the back of my mind, and maybe you think this way too, like I got to get through this because when she gets older, what she's doing now is going to serve her well at some point when she becomes an independent woman. It's going to be good.
Exactly. Yes.
How do you manage?
They are going to be the bosses.
Yes. Yeah. And hopefully this is what, gets it. How do you manage like such a strong personality? Because you have a strong personality too. How do you manage like knowing like, hey, I know exactly what's happening and I can help you and you're not gonna let me.
Yeah, and the hard part is that all three of my girls have such different personalities. It's so crazy. And the oldest one, my first one, she's more closed off. She's not very open, and I try to talk to her and still let her know, but it doesn't work. And she's just one of those, just closed off.
Yeah.
But the other two, they're more open. So it's easier to talk to them.
Oh, it's just so much easier. Actually, I was listening to another podcast where sometimes, and I don't know if you can tell the difference, but sometimes with kids especially, some kids don't like when their parents sit them face to face and try to talk to them eye to eye. But sometimes you get a lot more out of your kid if they're sitting in the car next to you because you're not staring at them.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I do.
Do you find it helps?
It does. It does help.
Yeah. Well, because it's
but like
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say with my oldest, it's like nothing helps. I've tried that too, and she'll say a little bit, but then she cuts off. But I don't even know at this point what to do with that one.
How old is she?
She's 19 now.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough too, because I mean you pretty much you can't pry, right? They're being 19, that's pretty much adulthood, and you can't. I mean, if my parents try to get information from me, I'm pretty open with them, but it is more difficult once they get older.
Yeah.
So I guess you're just lucky with the stuff you do get.
Yeah.
So you are a dance mom, right? Is she the only one that does dancing, or did the other girls do it too?
No, she's the only one.
Really?
My oldest, she's the one that's book smart. And I don't know if you have ever heard this or noticed this, but I've noticed it seems like the ones who are very book smart, they have no common sense. And that is my 19-year-old. Poor thing. So she's the one that's book smart. My middle one, she's the more that's tech smart. She's a little bit of everything. She's very well-rounded.
Okay.
And the little one, she's the one that's very feisty, sassy, and dance. She's just, everything is dance.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I've noticed that ever since she was little, like baby, not even a year old, she's always dancing.
Yeah.
But and like when we go places, she has this really big personality, and like even the doctor's like, you belong on TV. Are you on TV yet?
It reminds me of Lily, and I always say like she can't have enough cameras on her.
Oh my God, that reminded me the other day. They had pictures. No, actually, it was last week. They had pictures of. They had this real fancy studio come in and take pictures of the girls, the dance girls. Well, she comes out from, because she's in so many different things. So she was doing costume changes, and then when she comes out from one of her costume changes, they're the ones that are in competition. Their pictures, their posters are hanging up in the studio on the wall. Yeah. And she comes out and she stands with her hand on her hip and she's looking at her poster. She said, "Ooh, who is that girl? She is so pretty." And all of the dance moms just busted out laughing. Oh my God.
How did she get involved in that? Was that something you enjoyed when you were younger too? Were you involved in dancing at all?
I've always loved to dance, but no, I've never.
Nothing like she does, competitions and everything.
No.
Yeah. Mm-mm. So did you get her into that at a real young age then?
When I noticed that she started liking it, I put her into a dance and Luling, but then they ended up closing. And then this one opened up in Gonzales. So she's been over here ever since.
Yeah.
And she's already talking about wanting to go to school here in Gonzales because, we live in Welder, and Welder's very small and they don't have a dance team. Gonzales does have a dance team, and she wants to come to school over here because they have a dance team.
Yeah. How do you feel about that as her mom that lives in Welder?
If I've always been the type that I will always support my kids no matter what.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with Aaliyah. She, like I said, she was always book smart. She wanted more classes as far as education, and she wanted to come to Gonzales because they had a few classes here in Gonzales that they don't have in Welder. And so I was like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And, we talked about it for the longest, and she wanted to. So I applied for a transfer, and she got accepted, and that was in 8th grade. And she graduated from Gonzales.
Okay. All right.
And so if this is what she wants to do because of dance and something that Welder doesn't have, then hey, I'll support her and I'll put in
help
that.
her out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know just, based on all you that live there, and my dad's from there, and that it's a small town, but you guys really love it there, and you want everything to do well. And now, we have cousins that are, that work for the city, and when my brother was down there, he worked for the city, and he dove in and all that kind of stuff. But for such a small town, and my dad used to tell me how, I'm sure you heard too, how big it used to be. There used to be 7 gas stations, and it, all this and that, and now there isn't a lot of stuff, but everyone is so proud, and me too. Even when who was it? A few years ago, when they went really far in basketball tournament, and I always make sure to tell my dad, like, hey, make sure to bring me a hoodie back or some shorts or something. So because it's cool, and I like that I have family there, and it is a proud thing. Town pride is pretty strong there.
Yes, it is. I love Welder. And I was just telling someone about this the other day. Like I tried to move to Austin. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we moved there for a year.
Yeah.
And I loved Austin. Austin is my favorite city still to this day. And I loved my job. I loved where we lived. I loved everything about it. But it just wasn't home to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a city girl. I'm a country girl.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going back to Welder because I missed my mom and my dad.
Yeah. Well, that happens.
But yeah, I don't think I'm just a country girl. I don't see myself leaving little bitty Welder.
Yeah. Well, and how do you know what the population is right now, give or take?
No, I don't know. It has grown, but I would say at least 1,100, 1,200.
Okay. Yeah. So it is small, and I remember when I took Andrea there. This is before we got married. And we stayed, at the time, my dad owned a mom and pa's house. So we stayed there. It was just me and her. And I remember getting woken up at like 6 a.m. because there was a rooster crowing across the street. And Andrew was just like, where are we right now?
The first time that she went to Welder, she was like, is this it?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because where her family's from, it reminds me a lot of Welder. They live in Western New York, up by Buffalo. It's a small town called Albion, real small town. Her cousins live in her grandparents' house. They bought her grandparents' house. You got to drive, 20, 30 minutes away to get to a big store. I think they have a Walmart there, or like it's the smaller grocery stores and stuff, but whenever we go back there, it's a little bigger than Welder, but whenever we go back there, it reminds, because downtown is like real old buildings and there's just all this old stuff, but it always reminds me when I go back there. So she was well aware of small town living, just not roosters waking you up,
Like we're used to seeing cows and horses, but one day it's been only 2 days, two separate times where I saw deer by my house, and that's not. I never see deer in my area.
Yeah, it was fun when we were down there. Actually, we're planning to go down there a year from now. I think next June 2023. Me and Andrea and our kids, Misty and her family, and my mom and dad and Martina, we're all planning. We're trying to find a house right now to stay in, but we'll be down there for a week.
Yeah, your dad was telling me. I had called him last week, I believe it was, to wish him happy birthday.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that'll be so good because it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And every time I go down there, it's because someone passed away. And it's always like, well, I'm going down there. But it's always for not a good reason. But it is always fun when I go down there because we don't go down there very much. And my dad took us down there a lot when we were little. We'd hop in our van and drive down there. And I think once a year or once every other year, we'd go down there during Christmas and hang out there, which I had a lot. I mean, I always felt my brother Buddy just slid right in all the time. That was like, but I was always, I was so shy and didn't want to talk to people. I just tried to just find my way or hung around my parents all the time because I don't know, I just wasn't used to it, How did you?
Things have definitely changed since then. I mean, it seems like so much has changed ever since our grandparents have passed.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of gone their separate ways, but those were the best memories when they stayed in that house and everybody would come together and
yeah.
That was best.
How was it? Because I grew up, I had 0 cousins here until Jaime had, Gabby and Dominic. And I think Gabby's like 16 now. So I was in my 20s, right? So I had no cousins here. How was it like just knowing like you have a million cousins that you could just call and hang out with and be with, and like I had to feel more like brothers and sisters than cousins, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I never even thought about that till you said that right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, you get used to it. No. You get used to it. Like I never thought like I was missing out on anything because I never had that to begin with. Like it's not like we lived down there, we moved away from everybody. This was just life up here. Like it was just how I was or how I was raised. And so I never felt like, and even to this day, I don't feel like I missed out on anything. I just know it had to be different. I had a brother and 2 sisters, and you had, 20 some brothers and sisters, right? More or less.
Yeah. And it's something I can't even explain, being such a small knit community, like we're all very close, even though we don't see each other that often, because of course, everybody has their own lives, their own families, their own things, all their own things going on. But we know, we can call on that person and they're going to be there. I think the closest one that I talk to the most, I would say, is Melissa, Dinah, Angie. I haven't talked to Kevin that much. I talked to his girlfriend more than I talked to him. But I'm so proud of him. Have you talked to him recently?
I haven't, no. How's he doing?
Yeah. Oh, he's doing really good. He's been with the same girl for a while now, and I'm sure Kevin, his wild days.
Sure, yeah.
He finally settled down.
Well, they weren't as wild as some other cousins, but but you said go back to you saying like like if something happened or if you needed somebody, they're there, they come help you out. But that's the same way here. Like if we need something, or you guys are up here, my brother passed away, you guys are up here really quick, and to hang out with us and to be with family and everything. So I know, like, even though you guys live far away, like I know, hey, if this thing happened, or if we needed you guys up here, people would find a way to get up here, just like we would find a way to go down there, and we have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like even my mom, I'm sure a lot of our aunts, they're more like homebodies.
Yes.
And they don't, go out too often. Like my mom, she has never really traveled. And so when that happened, and I asked her, I said, do you plan on going over there? And she looks at me like kind of crazy. And she says, I want to go because I love him and I want to be there for my brother and the family. And she said, but how am I going to do that? I said, what do you mean? I said, I want to go. I said, Mom, we have to go. That's our family. And she said, like, she was stuck because she's not used to traveling at all, like at all. She's just, I'm sure you know how she is, but she's like, she said, I'll do it. I'm going to go. I have to go. She said, you're right. We do have to be there. And so I was so surprised that she actually went.
Yeah.
That was a big step, because she does not get on a plane.
Has she ever flown before?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. And I've flown and I'm terrified of it. So I can't imagine never have flown and then being her age and saying, yep, I'm going to get on my first airplane.
Yep. But I think I did pretty good, trying to be patient with her and trying to, lead and act like I knew what I was doing. Even though that was only my second time flying.
Yeah. You're a pro compared to her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, even if it's something that's so terrifying for somebody, like you said, like she just said, I have to do this, and we're gonna figure it out. Yeah. I want to talk about my brother a little bit, and because he moved down there, and like I said, he can fit in anywhere.
Yes.
He was perfectly suited to be in welder, to be, and he's able to find a job real quick and make friends and see all you guys. And I mean, he'll find what he needs to find in order to he found what he needed to find to keep him going. How was he when he was down there? Did you see him a lot when he was down there?
I didn't.
No.
I did see him, yes, but not a lot because I'm another homebody. Yeah. I have 3 kids. I usually am just working home. Really, that's it. And I'm always busy going somewhere with the kids. And then by the time we get home, it's time for us to get ready for bed. And, so I don't get a chance really to even see anybody. Even people in welder, like I only see people in welder when I go to the store or to the post office. Because I'm just working home.
Yeah. Well, I get it too. I mean, my parents live here in Perrysburg, and my in-laws live 3 houses down. And sometimes I'll go a week without seeing anybody because we're so busy with kids and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But Melissa, of course, she saw him a lot more because Melissa, her energy is nonstop.
She's everywhere all the time.
Yes.
Well, she's just like Martina.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why they get along so well. That's why they're very close.
Yeah, because they're on the same page. So you said you're a homebody. What do you when you're not carting your kids around? Because one's 19 now, so I'm sure she's carting herself around. The other one graduated, so I'm sure they're independent more, right? They don't need you as much. Yes. So what do you do? What do you do at home?
Well, when I am home, the only thing I have time to do is cook and clean. That's it. And on the weekends, I'm usually not even home, to be honest with you, because my boyfriend, he lives in Converse, so I'm over there a lot with him.
Oh, okay.
So me and my kids go over there, or my kids are with their dads. family in San Marcos. I'm not sure. I'm sure you remember that their dad passed away. So, but his family has been very, very. They have been amazing. Like they stepped up a lot, and so they never left. So they helped me a lot with the kids.
Nice.
So just like this past weekend for Easter, they were over there with his family. They go over there a lot.
Do you ever take time for yourself and just relax?
Yes, I have to.
Yeah.
For my sanity, I have to. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, it's important. It's important, especially when you're running around doing everything. And I always tell Andrea, I was like, Andrea, you need a hobby, you need to do something. And she always says, well, my kids are my hobby. It's like, no, they're not. They're your kids. You're a mom. A mom isn't a hobby. That's just a mom. And
exactly.
so you got to find things to do for yourself, because like you said, for your sanity, like you got to do this. Yep. Right now it's TikTok.
I learned that a long time ago.
Did you how did it manifest itself where you're like, man, I need to like just be away for a little bit?
Oh my God. When I've always been like the kind of controlling mom. I have to have things a certain way. Everything has to be on a schedule. But when it's your first kid, you usually have everything is a little bit more of everything.
Yeah.
And so when I had my second one, which was Erica, I, of course, again, was still in my protective stage, and, I had to have things a certain way. And her dad's mom was not having it. She wanted her grandbaby. Yeah. And mind you, I never went through this with the first one.
Oh, okay.
And so she, and they live in San Marcos, which is almost 45, 50 minutes away. I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? No, this is my baby. You cannot take my baby over there with you.
Yeah.
So we went back and forth for the longest, and so finally I let my baby go stay. She was baby months. But I'm very glad that she kept on pushing it, because she finally let me ease up, and I finally gave someone else that chance to, take care of my babies the way I take care of them. And once I saw that she was, willing to do everything just like I was, that gave me some sort of relief.
Yeah.
To let them go. So that made it easier for me. I'm like, after a while, I'm like, this feels really good to have this alone time. So now I'm like, when are you
take him, please? Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get here.
Sure. Yeah, us too. Like when we had Mateo, just like everything's by the book. We got to do this. We got to do this. Here's a schedule. We'd write things when we'd go somewhere and someone was watching. We'd have a sheet of paper like, here's where you're supposed to feed them. Here's when you lay them down. Here's all this stuff. We had the second one. It was still kind of like that, but we also had to learn. We can't control what grandparents are going to do, and it's also not fair for us to dictate what grandparents are going to do.
Exactly.
We just have to know and let them know, like, you're gonna do these things, just be safe. That's all. I mean, that's all we can do. And then, or they figure things out. Like when Mateo's with us, we're eating dinner, we go out to eat, he'll eat food until his belly hurts. And we gotta, like, so we get on top of it and we tell him, like, okay, you're done because your belly's gonna hurt. You just don't know it right now, and being a grandparent, like it just happened over the weekend. They went out to dinner, they went to a movie, had snacks at the movie, this and that. And my mom was worried, like, he's going to have a bellyache because they're grandparents. I'm not going to, as a grandparent, I don't think the word no exists. Right. So
exactly.
And it's a grandparent. I had my grandma that lives up here, is an awesome grandma. She gave us everything we wanted all the time. And like, no questions asked. And that's what I want for my kids. Like, I want them to be able to go to their grandparents. Are you still there? Or are you frozen? You look frozen. Uh-oh. Jamie. Oh no. If you're there, log out and try to log back in. Maybe that'll help. Uh-oh. All right, there we go.
Hey, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You're fine. I'll edit it out. We'll keep going. We'll be all right. But I was saying, I want my kids to experience their grandparents like I experienced. You know, like I want them to want to go over there and hang out with them and go places with them and everything, because I really enjoyed it. And come to find, as I got older, I realized like, oh, we're going over my grandparents every weekend because my parents still like to party. So then that's what they did. And to shove those kids out of here. But that was a hard thing. That was a hard thing for me to learn is and my parents let me know, like, hey, sometimes we're not going to do what you want us to do. And I just had to be like, all right, I understand. And now it's a lot easier, especially when they get older. It's a little easier.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I'm like I said, I'm glad they have that relationship.
Are you better to are you guys able to have more date nights now that they're older?
Yes and no. Before we didn't leave because they were babies. Now we have to find time because they're so busy doing stuff. Like we want to be at their softball game and baseball game and gymnastics and baton tour. Like we want to be at all that stuff. So sometimes it's just not feasible to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we still we try at least a couple times a year just to stay in town, but get a hotel and just be out and not like have to worry about anything. But we got to find okay, there's no baton competition, there's no baseball game, there's no soft, like all this stuff, because I coach Mateo's baseball team and Lillian's softball team, and so there's just I got to be at all the stuff, and so does Andrea. So that's the only reason we don't do it as much, but we still try, because that's important too. I always tell people you can leave your kids every once in a while, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I coach so many kids, and I can tell the kids that are like, oh, you're just around your parents all the time because you don't really listen to other people, and you don't have experience talking to other people. It's an easy thing to figure out.
How long have you been a coach?
So I've coached football for 10 years.
Oh my God.
And then I coached Mateo's baseball team for probably, he's 10 now, so probably started when he was 5. I was either a head coach or assistant coach, and then I've been coaching Lillian's team. Last year was t-ball, and then this year softball. So I'm always coaching something. And it's
wow.
Fun. I like it. My dad coached my baseball team when I was little, and I always wanted to do that. So as soon as we had Mateo, I couldn't wait for him to start playing baseball, because I wanted to coach him like my dad coached my team. And then it's cool because Andrea's part of it too. So she, she's like a team mom. She'll help when I'm practicing. She'll talk to the parents about things, or if I ask her like, hey, can you let the parents know this, that, or the other, and she'll talk to them and everything. So it's we're all out there, and it's fun because my mom did that too. She helped my dad. So it's cool that it kind of like continues what I grew up with.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get in a better area because I can feel the internet going in and out.
No, it's fine. It's just delayed because of just how it is, but it's fine right now. You just drive around. That'll make good video. Oh, it went out. There you are. So you just circling the parking lot like a creep?
Well, I moved from one area to another, and it's not getting any better, so I'm just gonna leave the whole entire parking lot.
We can have a driving podcast. That's all right. That'd be a first. That's never happened. That's never happened before, so that'd be good. So do you normally just stay there, or do you drop her off and come back?
I actually, what I used to do when I first started coming is I would just get on my phone and watch my shows, since I had never have time to watch TV at home.
Yeah.
That was my time to catch up on my shows. But a few months ago, I started walking over here.
Oh, nice.
And I like it so much better over here because I do 2 miles over here, and it's like it goes by so fast because there's so many cars passing by. It's just a lot of action,
Yeah.
And in Welder, when I'm walking, there's nothing. So when I walk in Welder, it's like boring, and it takes me longer. It feels like it's forever, but over here it seems like it goes by so fast. So I like walking over here.
And what got you started doing that?
I saw one of the other dance moms doing it.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, hey, what route do you take? And how far is it? And she told me, and I tried it. And I was like, wow, I love this. I just put on my music and start going.
You ever listen to me when you're walking around?
I did one time, yes. Yeah. But most of the time I have to have music because I have to, be dancing while I'm walking.
Sure. No, I get it. So I work out in the mornings, and sometimes I listen to podcasts. Other times, like today, like one day, I was like, podcast ain't cutting it. I got to have music today to make me go faster or just be more pumped about it. When you got to wake when you got to wake up at 4:20 to work out, you got to do music sometimes.
Oh my God, you get up that early?
I have to. I got to be at work by 6:30, and it takes me about 20 minutes to get there, and I can't do it after work because the kids get off the bus and I got to run around places and everything. So I got to fit it in somewhere.
Wow, dedicated.
Well, I started drinking energy drinks, which probably isn't good for me. I don't do it all the time. Just if I have a meeting at work and I don't want to be yawning through it, I'll drink an energy drink just so I'm not so I don't look bored with the meeting.
Do you know I have never tried one of those?
Not any. There's so many different kinds. You haven't had one kind?
Not one.
You haven't had you haven't had a Jaeger bomb?
No.
No. Wow. Well, just because, or is just?
I just heard that it has a lot of sugar in it, and sure. I was like, no, I just never cared to try it.
I found one that it has 0 sugar and it's natural caffeine, supposedly. So that's the one I drink that doesn't have any sugar in it. So we'll see if my heart explodes later on in life.
Stop it. Oh my God.
So
my mom was telling me earlier that she went to the doctor, and they were telling her about she needs to get on this diet and
sure,
start eating healthy. And I said, well, and did they tell you need to exercise? Because I'm always telling her, Mom, can you please get out the house? Do something.
What does she do all day? Just sit around and watch TV?
I guess so.
Does she work?
Yeah, they did tell me. No, she's not working anymore.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
It got too hard for her because of her arthritis.
Oh, okay.
Rheumatoid arthritis. And she was always in so much pain.
Mm-hmm. So she just watches her shows.
Yeah.
What when you would, before you started walking and watch your shows, what shows were you into?
I would say All American. Now they have All American Homecoming. Let's see.
I used to watch
a lot of reality shows.
Do you? I never got into reality shows. I never got into reality shows.
Yeah, that's my favorite, unfortunately. like the Real Housewives. I love all of those. I watch every single one of them.
There's like 50 of them.
My favorite is yes, there's a lot of them. My favorite is Real Housewives of what is it? Potomac, I think it is.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I never heard of it.
You've never seen that one?
No.
Yeah, I think that one. Yeah, that's my favorite. But I started recently Vampire Diaries again. I love the Salvatore brothers.
Yeah, I've never even. I don't think I've heard of that.
Have you ever watched that one?
No.
You know, I'm not into vampire shows, movies, anything like that. But
yeah.
Aaliyah was watching, my oldest daughter, she was watching it. And of course, you know, I'm there sitting doing other stuff. And I started watching it and little pieces here and there. And what do you know? I got into it. And I never would have thought in a million years I would get into a show like that. And now it's one of my all-time favorites.
And she's like, I'm done with that show, Mom. We don't need it anymore. What you said at the beginning when we were joking about you not liking your job. What do you do?
I am a city clerk / municipal court clerk. And, you know, being at a small town, we do a little bit of everything. So, I mean, the front is just me and one other clerk, and in the back is the secretary. So we don't have just one job hat.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff to do, you know.
Do you enjoy it?
But I really do love my job, and I love the people I work with. So I was just kidding.
I don't know if I believe you at the beginning of the episode or believe you now. So
I actually used to work there a few years back, but I ended up leaving and I went to work in Gonzales, the food stamp office, which worked really well because, you know, Leah at the time was going to school over here. So I would just drop her off at school and then go to work here. And now I'm back in welder.
Just that's how it is. That's your life.
And it works perfectly now because my two youngest ones are in school in welder. So
do you have any like working there? Do you have any weird stories or anything crazy that's happened, or is it just everything's just chill?
No, it's not chill. Everybody thinks just because, you know, it's welder, it's a small town, you know, we don't have much to do. No. And then, of course, you know, dealing with the people is always fun, you know?
Yeah. I like dealing with people, but I mean, I'll talk to anybody, but I can imagine when people come there that they're not in a good mood.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. I usually get along with everybody. I talk to everybody too.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you have that one difficult person and you have to try to remain professional and calm. Especially when I was working at in Gonzales over here. Oh my goodness, that was even worse because, you know, people do not play about their food stamps.
I'm sure. Yes, 100%. Yeah. So you shorted me too.
And then I was working there when the hurricane went on in Houston. God, which hurricane was that? I can't even remember, but oh my God, that was horrible. We were working like we have never worked before.
Oh, I'm sure.
But actually, I felt bad for the people at that time, and I was very glad to help. And you can tell by talking to the people, they were very thankful, especially like because we used to help the people around the other offices around our area, like New Braunfels, Seguin, San Marcos, just around here. But we would never help like Houston. But that's where it was, and they needed the help. So we were helping Houston. I had never helped Houston before. And talking to these people, they were like so thankful. They were very appreciative. So one of them was even crying on the phone with me, and she thanked me for helping. I was like, oh my God, my heart.
Well, yeah, that it makes you think like, man, this little tiny this thing that I thought was horrible that happened to me is kind of insignificant right now. Did you hear me?
No, you said that.
No, I was just saying, like, helping those people in Houston probably got you thinking, like, man, this thing that happened to me that I thought was huge is kind of insignificant compared to what's happening right now.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Well, our time is about up. But I started a new thing that I tell people or ask people at the end. You said you claim you love your job, so we'll go with that statement. What is the one thing you love? Like, if you could say one thing, what is one thing you love about your job? Like, you wake up in the morning, you're like, ooh, I get to do this thing, or I get to talk to this person, or this, whatever it is. Like, what's one thing you can like hang your head on? Like, I love this part of it.
My coworkers.
Yeah.
They make everything so much easier because we all get along so well. And that's the big thing, like at any job. I've been at other jobs before where I just cannot stand that person, or she can't stand me, or, it's always ugly when it's that type of situation. But at my job, we actually get along very well and we make it fun.
Yeah. Well, I've had jobs and I do it now where I'll be talking to Andrea and I'll say, oh, my friend at work, and it's like, you can't always say friend, you might just say this person I work with, but I like people I work with. And I was at, before I'm at the Metro Park City of Toledo Metro Parks now. But before that, I was at the University of Toledo. I was there for 7 years. And when I left there, like, it sucked leaving because of my friends there. And part of it was I was there with them for so long, but part of it too was I knew by me leaving, I was putting them in a tough situation too because of people that weren't there. So it's the people can make or break a job. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, yep. Jamie, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and again, thank you for listening. It means a lot. And it was fun because I don't think we've ever talked for 45 minutes, me and you, together like this. So it was great talking to you. Tell your daughter she can come on the podcast at some point if she wants to. If she wants to come and talk. Lillian comes on every once in a while, so she can come on.
You should bring both of them on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. To talk about.
No, they'll probably both just freeze up.
They'll take over.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. All right, Jamie. Well, like I said, thanks so again. Yeah, it was fun talking to you, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody, for checking out this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're hearing this, on any of the podcatchers, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We're coming at you 2 times a week now, audio and video. Check us out on all the social medias. Just search the Nerdball Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're out there. Gmail is the nerdballpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to shoot us an email, we'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks to Real JP Multimedia, Cuttlefish Graphics, Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab, and Big Daddy Graphics for helping out the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.